My question, how sure are you that that document is legit? How sure are you that it's the real deal?
Well, I'm very sure that that is a legitimate document.
Very sure, like 100% certain?
Well, you're pretty close to 100%.
You see the special counsel, Republican appointee, leading the case against Hunter Biden, who was appointed by Donald Trump, now says that that guy, this informant they hung their entire claim on about the bribe, he lied. Their infamous FBI informant is being federally, criminally charged for making it all up.
Yes or no? Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation, and do you believe that you will be able to prove that? Jim Comer.
I sure hope so.
Republican members of Congress are once again witting or unwitting agents of Russian intelligence peddling a false narrative that is Russian disinformation in an effort to interfere in the election and boost Donald Trump.
Have you found have you found evidence that anybody broke any laws?
Well, if the president was involved in this, obviously he would have broken many laws.
The entire weaponization subcommittee that Jim Jordan runs is designed to undermine enforcement against disinformation that could interfere with our elections. That is the whole purpose of that committee.
The reason why this is significant is that this individual and his testimony was a major aspect of the claims by Republicans that President Biden himself had benefited from his son's business operation.
But that's just your suggestion. You don't actually have any facts to that point. You've got some circumstantial evidence. And the other thing is, of all those names, the one person who didn't profit is there's no evidence that Joe Biden did anything illegally.
Do you feel you have the evidence right now to prove to the American people that President Biden committed a crime?
I think so.
Should Joe Biden be impeached?
I think he should.
Now that they know that this information was funneled through Russian intelligence, through the FBI by Russian intelligence, and is part of a Russian disinformation scheme to interfere in our election, if they continue with this investigation, they are opening themselves up to a criminal investigation for conspiring with Russia to interfere in the election.
You also spoke with an informant who gave you all of this information. Where is that informant today? Where are these whistleblowers?
Well, unfortunately, we can't track down the informant. We're hopeful that the informant is still there. Well, we're hopeful that we can find the informant. Now, remember, these informants are kind of in the spy business.
This oligarch was a high-ranking member or owner of Burisma?
Yes, that is exactly right. Unfortunately, nobody's had any contact with him for the last 3 years.
Documented allegations of bribery from a trusted FBI confidential human source has now finally been released. Now, its contents are devastating.
Fox host Sean Hannity alone promoted the claim of this single FBI informant no less than 85 times last year. 28 of those segments were monologues, very long monologues, in addition to all the breathless so-called reporting, and this is across the right-wing media. Hannity had House Oversight Committee Chairman and Chief Biden crime family investigator James Comer on as a guest 43 times in 2023. Today, James Comer and Sean Hannity's favorite informant, the smoking gun for their investigation, was arrested at Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas. He was indicted on 2 counts of feeding the FBI false information about President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. According to that indictment, 43-year-old Alexander Smirnov's story about Burisma officials paying the Bidens millions, quote, was a fabrication, an amalgam of otherwise unremarkable business meetings and context.
Your boss had concerns about your judgment. Your former boss, Dr. Hill, had concerns about your judgment. Your colleagues had concerns about your judgment, and your colleagues felt that there were times when you leaked information. Any idea why they have those impressions, Colonel Vindman?
Yes, Representative Jordan. I guess I'll start by reading Dr. Hill's own words, as she attested to in my last evaluation that was dated middle of July, right before she left. Alex is a top 1% military officer and the best Army officer I've worked with in my 15 years of government service. He is brilliant, unflappable, and exercises excellent judgment.
So
He was exemplary during numerous visits, so forth and so on, but I think you get the idea. Mr. Morrison, yeah, the date of that was July 13th. So, Mr. Jordan, I would say that I can't say what why Mr. Morrison questioned my judgment. We had only recently started working together. He wasn't there very long, and we were just trying to figure out our relationship. Maybe it was a different cultures, military culture versus...
And Colonel, you never leaked information?
I never did, never would. That is preposterous that I would do that.
We got compelling evidence now.
All that pattern right there is consistent with what the confidential human source told the FBI, and they recorded in the 1023 form.
And all of those emails, 10% for the big guy.
Now that we know that Republican Representatives Jim Jordan and James Comer used Russian disinformation as the basis to try to impeach an American president, should Jordan and Comer be investigated for their possible involvement in a conspiracy with Russia to interfere in our presidential election?
I don't know why Jim Comer and Jim Jordan thought that perhaps it was going to be Joe Biden's brother that brought him down. But this is the path that they've chosen to take. And honestly, I'm surprised that they have this high of a threshold for humiliation. Every witness that they have called has decimated their arguments, from Devin Archer to Peter Schwerin to Marvin Young. And then we have the guy behind the Holy Grail document, the 1023, Alexander Smirnov, who's found that he had lied, right, about the charges, the $5 million that went to both of them. And then it gets even better. Not only did he lie, he was lying because the Russians were feeding him the disinformation. It's so embarrassing. I think Jamie Raskin was spot on when he said that this impeachment inquiry really ended yesterday when we found out that we have a Russian asset that was foundational to this impeachment inquiry. And Jim Comer and Jim Jordan should maybe try doing something for their constituents and let this go, because it's going nowhere.